All right, it looks like it's just the four of us.
Make it quick, we can make it intimate, and we can also dive into questions that you both have about this project.
Awesome.
All right, so let me introduce myself. My name is Latiana Tab, and I am the project manager for creative placemaking for People's Emergency Center, CDC. Michelle, I know that you are familiar with the CDC, particularly with your work with Dante. And Noam, you are here through our partner, Tanara, from the Barnes Foundation. So Barnes West is a partnership between the Barnes Foundation and PEC CDC. And we are a program that we've been a partnership for this is year 3. It was formerly Barnes at Lola 38, and it's transitioned into Barnes West. Our goals are still the same, with really creating the opportunities for residents in and around Lancaster Avenue and expanded into West Philly to have opportunity for creative experiences. And that looks like engaging with artists and providing paid opportunities for artists to, whether that might look like performance, workshops, but really opportunities for artists to engage with residents. And, and on the flip side, residents having the opportunity to increase access for the arts. And overall, our goal at People's Emergency Center with the Creative Placemaking Project of Lola 38, or Creative Placemaking Initiative, it was once a project. It was like a 18-month project years ago. And I need to stop calling it a project because it's here to stay.
Ongoing, yeah.
Yes, we are an initiative. We're here. But PEC CDC has been doing creative placemaking work and bringing arts and culture to Lancaster Avenue for over a decade. And this is one of its newest ongoing, committed initiatives. And part of that is ensuring and working with businesses along the corridor and inviting people from around the neighborhood to think about and highlight the assets around Lancaster Avenue, and look at Lancaster Avenue as a gateway to arts in the community. So, as I said, we are here tonight with Tanara from the Barnes Foundation, and Tanara is going to go into more about this project in particular, the Everyday Places Artists Partnership.
Yeah, thank you, Latiana. So for the sake of the recording, for anybody who doesn't make it, I'm going to walk through this partnership project, and then we can just dive straight into questions that the two of you may have. So a brief overview. As Latiana said, the goals are twofold of Barnes West. It's to provide creative opportunities for artists to engage with West Philly residents, and to provide opportunities for West Philly residents to engage with arts resources, and to increase the access of arts resources in West Philly. So the design of this particular project is to pair a social impact artist with an organization or a business or location that is still seeing engagement with residents despite the pandemic. Part of the reason why we designed it this way was because we can't ask residents to gather in, artistic locations. It's the Barnes Foundation is a good example of a museum that has really decreased capacity in order to stay safe. And so rather than do no art at all, we have to be creative about where we are, where we're meeting residents with these artistic opportunities. That is hold on, I'm gonna mute myself. I think we're good. There's a lot going on. I have a roommate making dinner. So the goals of this particular partnership is really in the word partnership. We want to bring in a social impact artist who will actively partner with this organization that you're representing, or your business, or your location, and design together a design together an interactive, participatory artistic experience that really looks at bringing in resident voices from the beginning of the process, right? And that's what we mean by social impact. A social impact artist is an artist that is designing their project so that residents or audiences or constituencies, however you want to say it, they are involved at every step of the way. So we've opened up the call for artists. We already have some applications coming in, and what we are asking them to think about is we've published the list of participate organizations or businesses that have said they would like to participate. And so these artists are looking at the list, they're doing research about your business, about your organization, and they're more or less tailoring their project so that it could pair with one of these locations. So we have, Latiana, correct me if I'm wrong, we have 10 sites that are participating?
I believe it's 10.
Yeah. So, and we only have 5 partnership opportunities. So we want to just stress from the get-go that we are asking you all to come on a journey with us to review these artist proposals, understanding that you may actually not be paired with an artist, depending on the details of that proposal. We are open to creative solutions that might think about an artist being paired with multiple places only if it makes sense for the scope of the partnership. And so that's why we are going to be sharing all of the proposals with the folks that are participating. And then you all will get a rubric that's like very clearly like, these are the criteria that we are assessing these proposals. This is what we want you to keep in mind. You will rank the proposals that you've read, and then you will come to this meeting where we will together as a community collective select the artists.
Let me jump in, Tanara. So 2 things I want to talk about: the flexibility with possibly like pairing locations or grouping locations, and then also talk about how we got to the part of like a community collective. So when we're thinking about the possibility of grouping sites together, those are sites that are in close proximity to one another. So for example, there are a few that are on a list that are like on the same corner. So it might make sense for an artist to have an engagement with like those 3 sites that signed up. And then that way the impact is larger. The potential impact is larger because they could reach so many more residents, if that makes sense for them, if it makes sense for all of the organizations or businesses. But that's what we're thinking about as far as the flexibility with being able to create kind of like an arts coalition, a place-based arts coalition with this partnership. And in the past, we've had call for artists where we have selected artists, but done it in a way where it is not traditionally when you send out an RFP or there's a call for artists, there is a very small group of people who make those selections, and that could look like Tanara and myself. But in the past, with call for artists with Lola 38, we have invited the community to actually rank the artists or vote on essentially what type of art they want to see where they live or where they work. So with this partnership, we wanted to honor that legacy of continuing to invite people who are going to be directly impacted to have a say in the art that's created where they work or live. So you're frozen on my end, Tanara. I don't know if you're really frozen. Okay, she's frozen. She'll probably log back on. So any questions currently from either of you?
Yeah, I'm curious. You mentioned that Tanara actually mentioned that there were already like 10 artists. What type of
10 locations.
10
locations.
Okay, 5 artists. Gotcha.
5 artists. There are 5 artist opportunities.
Gotcha. Okay. And what type of arts are we talking about? Is it like a wide range? Is it just visual arts?
We're accepting applications from all art mediums.
Okay.
Tanara, you can continue.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I got kicked off the internet.
That's all right.
Great. I'm trying to think of what I didn't mention about this project. I think
you're right You were right in the beginning, just talking about the artist and the possibility of like locations and joining the locations together. So keep on going.
Yeah. Okay. Sounds good. So one of the things that we as Barnes West are offering to participating venues or locations or sites is we are going to be providing project management support essentially. So the artists are going to be compensated for this time, and they will also be provided with a supplies budget. So there's no cost to you all in order to participate. Really, like the benefit of doing this is to be able to engage creatively with your customers, with your constituencies, and provide a really enriching artistic opportunities, and also increase visibility, because we will be doing some advertising and some sharing out into the media about this event. And obviously we're gonna, depending on each of the project, we're going to be advertising it so people can come and safely participate in whatever this artistic opportunity is. So in addition to increased visibility, we are offering project management support, which means that we, you know, Latiana or I or another member of the Barnes West team are really going to be the folks that are sort of shepherding this process along. You know, we're going to be doing check-ins. We're going to be supporting the artist a lot if they're running into problems. But, you know, ideally what will happen is once the artist is selected and paired with the location, after they sort of complete, you know, they're going to sign a contract, they're going to get insurance, like we're going to help them get all that stuff in order. And then we will facilitate a meeting with you. And it's like the sort of first orientation of the meeting where we're going to really hammer out the project timeline. We're going to really see like the beginning, middle, and end of this. And then as the project continues, we will sort of be popping in and out to make sure that everything's going smoothly and being available, you know, to troubleshoot as problems come up. You know, we are hoping to schedule a virtual launch event for this in April so that all of the participating sites and artists and Barnes West team members can come together and celebrate that this is happening, as well as hopefully like an ending event that would happen outside, because that would be in September, where it will be warm, the weather will be beautiful, the case numbers will be down enough where we can feel confident about getting together in person, socially distanced and masked. So that's the other thing I will mention, is that it goes without saying.
I love all that hope.
You have to have hope, Latiana. The other thing I will just mention is that, you know, even though it goes without saying, the artists and the participating sites are absolutely expected to be adhering to social distancing guidelines, any health recommendations coming out of the city, out of the CDC. So like, wouldn't be a good idea for an artist to propose to stuff as many people as possible into a room to watch a performance. That's not going to happen. Whatever they are proposing has to, like the engagement process, the outreach process, like no matter what part of the process it is, has to adhere by health guidelines. So it's going to take a little bit of agility and creativity on the part of everybody involved, but that is what we do, and we just carry on. Latiana, what else do I need to, I feel like I've walked through the timeline. Is there anything content-wise that I've missed?
I don't think so. And you breezed over the insurance, and I just want to come back to it because I want you all to feel comfortable with the artists working in your space or around your space. The artists will be insured, and we're going to have them put your place of business or your organization as an additional rider on their insurance.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Other than that, though, I think that you covered mostly everything, because I'm sure there are things like in the proposal that we didn't share, but it's in the proposal. We want it to be good. But if you all have any more specific questions, we have a few more minutes and we would love to answer them. And even if they aren't questions, some thoughts, things for us to consider.
I'll also say that we can share the request for proposals that the artists got. And, you know, you can feel free to pass that along to artists that you know, but also if you are curious more about like how we're thinking about this, you can read through that proposal, and it's really comprehensive. It gives them a lot more like details and suggestions than we gave you guys, because obviously the artists are going to be thinking about the proposals. So you can feel free to look through that if you're curious.
And I will drop the link to that in the chat. Let me just pull it up.
You all can expect to get an email from us either tomorrow or at some point this week with a doodle poll. And that will, we're just going to ask you to indicate your availability for this selection meeting. Artist proposals are due back to us March 5th, after which we're going to share all of them with you. You're going to have to look at all of the proposals. And then after looking through them and, you know, filling out the rubric for each one of them, we'll gather together as a collective to make the final selections and talk about it. So we'll be sending out the doodle poll as well as the rubric, you know, sometime this week. And then after March 5th, you'll get all the proposals.
Just a clarifying question around the timelines. I feel like when I talked with you, Tanara, you mentioned that the timelines will be different for different projects.
Yeah, they'll be staggered.
Yeah.
Yeah, that is, thanks for bringing that up. Yeah. So one of the residencies will sort of be virtual / hybrid, and that will last one of the partnerships, and that will last the full 6 months of the project. The rest of the partnerships are going to be staggered throughout the spring and summer and early fall on a 3-month basis. So the virtual hybrid partnership and the first in-person partnership will start at the same time, but the in-person partnership will end 3 months later, whereas that virtual partnership will continue on for the full 6 months. So the artists are being asked to indicate which of those ranges works for them. And so that's another thing that I'll mention. Like, I know that somebody I spoke to from Impact Services was like, we want a spring artist. Like we don't have the capacity to do anything until late spring. So if you're weighing priorities on your end for stuff like that, and there's a particular 3-month period that works better for you all, let us know, because that's just going to help us be able to pair people and make it the most effective project possible.
And we're thinking that the virtual artist partnership is going to require less of a lift from the artist and from whatever site they're paired with. So that's why it's the duration of the 6 months. We know that in-person engagements require a lot. So that's why those are half the time of the virtual.
So just a quick question. Again, do we provide you with dates and availability once we're selected, or do we have to provide you with that information once the artists are picked?
I would say tell us sooner rather than later if there's a particular time frame that works for you, and by time frame I mean like 3-month period. Because we don't have you all filling out a similar form that we have the artists filling out. So they're going to be indicating which sites they want to be in consideration for and which timeframes they want to be in consideration for. So I guess I think more helpful would be if there's a particular 2 or 3 months that you super can't do this, tell us. That's what we'll want to know, because we'll just block that out for you.
Yes, that's what I was going to say. Tell us not when you're available, but when you're not available, so it won't be considered.
More helpful. As always, Latiana and I are available. You have our contact information. So if there are additional questions that pop up after this, feel free to shoot us an email. But yeah, unless there's anything else. Sorry, Latiana, you were going to say something?
Yes, it's just that what I'll do is I'll email the link to this recording out to all of the sites who have expressed interest. So those who are unavailable have access to play it back.
Yeah. Any other questions that we can answer in this last couple minutes? Nope. Awesome. Well, thank you to the two of you for coming. I really appreciate you guys getting on this call. But yeah, as I said before, we're around if you have additional questions, but you should be hearing from us otherwise by the end of this week with that doodle poll and with the rubric, so we can continue moving forward.
Great. Thank you.
Thanks, Noah.
Thank you. You're welcome. Have a good night.
Stay safe and keep warm.
Yeah, for real.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.